Eric Burgess here with Music Marketing TV, and today I'm going to show you how to make a sound like this one. So these are really fun sounds, acid-based kind of sounds. They are based on a preset that I stumbled across and was just completely fascinated by. And it's a newer module they added that it actually allows sounds that are this good to come out of them. Because this is something that's pretty hard to do with digital synths, just because it's digital and this is a very analog kind of a sound. So it's kind of cool to see the modeling and everything being done. So this is a newer module. Actually, it's not in the manual, surprisingly. So this was the actual preset. And there are a bunch of cool little things that I picked up in my process of sort of reverse engineering the technique. I was really interested in what exactly, makes it tick. So let's go ahead. Let's open up another Spire and let's get going here. Now, first things first, they accomplished their volume by just turning the volume all the way up in a couple places. And we're just going to do that out the get-go. So first, we've got our volume up all the way right here. And we're also going to turn it up all the way right here. So we're just going to be working with similar levels to that, just for comparison's sake. Well, let's go to an initialize and turn those two volumes up. Okay, so there we go. We have this. An outrageously loud saw wave, basically. The first things first, we want a filter, and we want an acid-based filter. So we're going to turn this up, and we're going to turn the resonance up. And I know the resonance isn't up in the other one, but there is a modulator on. If you go to the matrix page and dig through there, you'll actually find that this is up. And this makes sense because this is the acid filter, so it's got some of the modeling for that in there. And you hear it already moving. That's because by default, envelope 3 is connected to this cutoff. So that's cool. If we, for example, change the decay, we can get more of a kick kind of a sound, and so on and so forth. Now the magic happens with their new module. So they've got this thing in here called the shaper option for the filter. You turn this on, leave it on saturate. Nothing exciting yet, but when you push this resonance knob up, it does some pretty awesome stuff when you combine it with other filters. And that is going to be what we really need. We can already hear the ew, ew, ew going on in there. And what becomes really fascinating is when you combine this with the decay and the sustain. So the cutoff's moving down. And if we change the sustain to settle at a different level, we get that acidy kind of a sound out of it. Now, we're going to open up the ARP because working with a sequence just makes it so much easier. There's a couple small details along the way, actually, working inside an ARP like this, that when you write your MIDI, you're going to want to probably incorporate. So we're just going to do this so it's all in one patch. So I'm going to turn it on. Right now, it's just going to play the same note, and basically like a stepper. Then what we want to do is I'm going to change the mode to step. This just means it's going to read the value at every step, and the velocity will also be read stepwise. So I'm going to go ahead and let's make a sequence here. I'm going to leave the first one at 0. We'll make it long. We'll turn this step off. We'll make this one long. Let's just hear what that sounds like. By the way, if you do this while playing, like if you hold down a note and change something, you will not hear your change until you play another note. So it needs to be updated. I don't like my sequence. All right, this is the sequence I'm gonna run with. You can spend a while making a cool one. That's good enough for me. Next thing we need to do, we need to take the octave down here. It's just gonna sound better at a lower octave. So just click this arrow. Next, we need to dial in our filter. So let's go back over to envelope 3, and we're going to begin to mess with things, but we gave the arpeggiator some velocity data. So we're going to come in and we're going to make it velocity sensitive to what we're changing. And so we're just going to add this in. This is going to add magic because as this moves around, it's going to alter this. It's going to be really nice. Now there's a subtlety here that I didn't realize, but by having our amount up so high, these values have like too much control. Like we haven't, it's like we've zoomed out and we're trying to move a dot and we're moving it just too much. So we're going to zoom in by bringing this in. So it has, they move less, but now these have, we can move them to bigger extremes. It's just going to be easier to set up something that's pretty awesome. This is something that when I realized this, I was like, are you kidding me? But yeah, that's the thing right there. Generally, I find I like my decay to be a bit longer, but it just depends on your settings that you're going to use. Now, we have it completely dry, and it sounds like this almost always have some sort of a delay on them. That or a reverb. Delay tends to sound better, and I'm just going to dial this up a bit. And the color, we want to dampen it, and you can actually accomplish this by bringing the color down a little bit, and it will just clear up the background some. The preset that I base this off of also does this. And it's just a nice way to sort of push it in the back, and it adds the space without adding a bunch of clutter. So there we go. We're beginning to get what we want, and we can begin to move these things around, and you'll get a huge variety of sounds to pick from. So this will of course depend on sort of how you're going to use it. Highly recommend automating these knobs. That's so cool. It sounds just so nice. There is one other nice touch that I found that's kind of interesting. In the shaper area, you could turn up the drive, but if you just leave the drive off and bring the dry wet up, you get the effect of these other things. And I like what it does generally. It is a big volume boost though, so maybe we cut back here. And there you have it. If you have any questions about this, let me know. Subscribe, hit that bell icon for future videos, and have a blessed day.